What is up, everybody? I've got a new build to share with you guys. I'm really happy with it. This is like a strictly PvP build. There's 0 damage to elites in it. There is still some room for improvement. I would prefer to have around 250,000 health in my final form, but I'm really happy with it. So the basis of this is going to be the FAMAS with the Merciless and the Spark backpack. Or, if you want, you can still use an Eagle Bearer. If you're fighting, multiple people, and it's just you, Eagle Bearer is probably going to do you a better job because of the damage reduction. However, I'm really enjoying the FAMAS, and this is how I got it. We'll start with the gun first, actually. The FAMAS, you can choose between fast hands or strained. That is the first choice that you're going to have. However, after playing with both, I actually think fast hands is better. And the reason why is this is a clutch build. And without fast hands, your reload speed is 2.5 seconds long. With fast hands, you can bring that down to a second. And the downtime is almost nothing. It's crazy how fast you can reload this gun. The reason that's important is in a clutch build, you're almost impossible to kill as long as you're dealing damage and landing your shots. Now, if you can't land your shots, then obviously fast hands is not a very good option. But in this build, sustained damage mixed with burst damage and sustained healing is what's going to win you fights. So rather than running strained, I decided to run fast hands because I feel I can stay alive a lot better with it and still do a ton of damage. But that's up to you guys. The way I have my gun modded is with crit chance on the scope, crit chance on the laser, and then you can choose between stability or accuracy or whatever you want to put on there. I don't have any damage to elites since this is not, meant for farming PvE. However, doing Occupied Dark Zone challenging checkpoints, the build still works fine. It's not like it can't kill elites fast. 20 round mag, obviously. And then the Merciless gun for its holstered talent, which is a 5% chance to deal 100% damage as explosives damage, which procs Spark on your backpack. I'm going to show you my stats real quick because I have a tendency to forget to show them. PvP weapon damage is showing 14,364. We got exactly 60 crit with this build. Crit damage is, just its default 35 when you're running the DNH set, which is what I'm running. Headshot damage is at 55. And what else is important here? Let's see. We've got 52 assault rifle, 22.5 all weapon damage. So that's pretty nice. We've also got 65% explosives damage. 33 health, 5 armor, 0 to elites. If you're doing mods, I recommend health damage prioritized over armor damage. I know that doesn't seem very popular, but the reason why is the hardest to kill enemies are going to be other people using clutch, where you're kind of face trading to see who can, land more shots, land more headshots, and out-heal and out-damage each other. And if you're doing that, and you have armor damage, which is also really good, you're not going to be actually benefiting from that at all, because you're going to be playing in their health pool the entire time. So for once, I've actually switched it over to health damage as my priority on mods. I still have some armor damage, but that's what we got there as far as stats. So we're running 3-piece DNH. That gives accuracy, 10 crit damage, and 7 crit chance. The reason I like DNH over Wyvern is 1, because of the perfect concussion mask, and 2, the backpack has a red mod slot. This mask has a lot of room for improvement. It's only got 3.5 crit chance, and I've rolled it to 28,729 health. This is a great mask. Preferably, though, this would have, at least 7 crit chance on it, potentially more, and roll the health to, around 30,000. You only get 4 blues because of clutch, which we'll show you in a minute. But we're going to do backpack next. Backpack, another piece of DNH. This backpack is not optimal. What I would like is crit chance weapon damage to already be on it, and roll the backpack to as close to 50,000 health as possible. That's where I'm going to be able to make up my health being, you know, around 250,000. Between this and the holster upgrade, it's going to be crazy. So I would sacrifice some of this weapon damage, so you could maybe have, you know, 6 crit, 6 weapon damage, and then 50,000 health. 40 to 50,000. That is what I want on a backpack. But it needs to have the combination so that I at least have Vital in there. My chest or my backpack has to have Vital. And obviously Spark with the red mod slot, so DNH. Gloves. Gloves are the death grips. These are perfect clutch. Originally, I didn't think these were going to be worth it and would have rather had, you know, regular clutch with a red mod slot on my Alps gloves like I normally run. But we've rolled these to 13 assault rifle damage. They have 3 crit. This would be a lot better if it had, you know, like 6, 7 crit on it, which is completely doable. Eventually, that's what it'll be. So I'll be able to make up crit on the gloves. I'll be able to make up crit on the mask. And then I won't need as much crit on my holster or backpack and can make up for health there. Perfect Clutch gives you 25% health repair and 2% armor repair. It's really good, and it actually does make a difference if you're trying to trade versus someone, say, who has the same build as you and doesn't have Perfect Clutch. You're probably going to win. Chest. Running a Fenris chest. This is not perfect. I wish it was. We got 7 crit chance, 5.5 weapon damage, and I've rolled this to 55,000 health. I was torn on this chest, whether or not to roll the health higher or the weapon damage higher. I could have gained 10 weapon damage, but health is in very limited supply on this build, so you want to make the most out of your 4 blues. So highly recommend your chest having over 50,000 health on it. It shouldn't be hard to get high health chests anymore. If you're having an issue, target farm Araldi's and target farm Alps, and you should be able to find them no problem. I've already found at least 5 chests with over 50,000 health on it. Now, Berserk is a must. Gotta have Berserk, but Insulated is not a must. This is not a horrible talent to have, but it is not my talent of choice. It's just the best that I have. It's not a useless talent in PvP. It helps against bleeds and burns, which a lot of people are running that really annoying bleed hive. So what I would prefer to have here would actually be, I forget what it's called, but you get 30% health on kill. When you kill someone, 30% health, and that's actually really good. So say you're 1v2ing someone, you down someone, and then you continue shooting them until they die. All of a sudden you get the health. It's called restorative. All of a sudden you get the health from clutching on them, plus a big jump of health from killing them. And the thing with clutch is it's actually 25% of your health that's missing. So it's not a full 25. You don't fill up with only 4 shots or 4 crits. You can see that in the shooting range here, where if I crit, it doesn't give me 25% of my... Oh, that's armor. It doesn't actually give me 25% of my health. The lower your health is, the higher it will be. You'll notice big chunks, and then big chunks, and then little tiny chunks. It's only 25% of your remaining health. And technically it shouldn't ever fill, but it obviously rounds up. So keep that in mind. That way, if you're running restorative on a piece of gear, it doesn't need to be your chest, but somewhere, you're going to be able to finish that body off and get a nice chunk of health, which is today, if I would have had that, I think I would have won a couple of the 1v2s that I lost. I'm not a very good PvPer, but I'm definitely happy with this build. It's really good. So that's the chest there. Holster. This is a piece that is amazing, but can be better. The reason why is I don't need 16 crit here. If I can make up crit on my mask and I can make up crit on my gloves, I can drop this crit to, you know, even 10 easily. I only need 3 more crit on each piece, and that would not be hard to do. So I could have a 10 crit Heligard holster, or Gillajard, and the Jod Roll Gillajard holster would be something like, you know, 10 crit and 45,000 health. You can get 45,000 health pretty easily on a on an Araldi's holster. I don't think I have one right now, but in my stash I do. But yeah, you can get 45,000 health on a holster. Find a Jillajard Jod roll with like 10 crit chance and roll it to 45,000 health. That would be awesome. That is what I'm going to do. When I do that, we're going to gain, 10,000 health right there. On the backpack, we're going to try to gain 35,000. You can get around 50,000 on a backpack. So 35,000 there with 10,000. Let's just call it 30,000 on the backpack. That's more realistic. 10,000 on the holster. That's going to be 40,000 health gained on top of, vital. So that'd actually be 50,000 health gained, and that would put me at 251,000 health. That'd be perfect. And that's the goal. Find something like that. And I would sacrifice less weapon damage for, a lot more health. Makes a big difference. And then knee pads. Knee pads, DNH, crit. I can also roll these to 9. I have the ability to roll these to 9. Destructive. Now, this doesn't really seem to make much sense, but it makes a big difference. Where it makes a difference is the holstered talent of your Merciless. It actually deals a lot of damage, and destructive makes it deal even more damage. However, I don't know if I would rather have destructive or restorative, but preferably you'd have both. I'd like to have, destructive or restorative on either my backpack, chest, or wherever. It can be all over the place. Same thing with destructive. I've seen restorative roll on all 3 of these slots. I think both of them can roll anywhere. But that combo would be great. And if you're wondering why that damage is important, so I'm hitting for 50,000 to the head non-crit, 60,000 to the head crit. But when this spark procs, which it procs quite often, it might not seem like it because I'm just single shooting, but when it procs, it hits really, really hard. Come on, give it to me. Okay, this seems like a ridiculously bad demonstration of spark right now. It normally doesn't take me this long to proc spark. I don't know what's going on. I think the RNG gods are trolling. There it goes. 133,000. So that's a big hit. 133,000. Normally, it procs quite a few times in a magazine. But not always. The RNG gods have to bless you. So that's where I think that it might not actually be the best choice. It was recommended by the top PvPer to me to run that. But it's up to you guys. You could also run restorative there and restorative on your chest. Then you'd have 60% health on kill. That way, if you kill someone, you're getting shot at, you shoot their body, you get some heals with your clutch, and then boom, you're full health. It's up to you. But I think I'm going to stick with, destructive on it and try to get restorative on the chest. Now, skills. I like Booster Hive. Booster Hive is really, really awesome. Oh, yeah, restorative is unique, so you couldn't run it twice. I'm tripping, guys. Take that back. You couldn't run 2 restoratives. I'm an idiot. You can't do it. You can't double them up unless there was perfect restorative, and I don't know if there is. And I don't think there is on anything that we'd use. So, Booster Hive is what I like. You can drop it on the ground in PvP and break it down, and you get half your charges back. I don't have this, I don't have any mods in this. It's just a default hive. But the charges regenerate fast enough that you can keep your Booster Hive up. You and some teammates can get boosted. So you just can drop it as you're running. You can just, double tap it. Whoa, what just happened? You just double tap it. It drops at your feet. You run past it. Then you hold the button down, and it breaks, and you're boosted. It's great. I really, really like it. And I highly recommend it for PvP. It makes a big difference moving around. It actually helps your recoil. Handling does. This gives you handling. If you guys didn't know that. It makes the gunfire better. It gives it a lot less recoil. Let's see. I'm going to start here with no input with my mouse at all. It's got a lot of recoil there. Let's break the hive. And now here we go. As you can see, it climbs quite a bit faster. It's not a huge difference, but it's nice, and it's mostly for the movement speed. You have a faster aim down sights movement speed. Like, look at how much faster I can strafe side to side while aiming. It's a big difference. I think it's extremely important in PvP to be running a booster hive and be boosted at all times. The other skill is up to you. The thing is that the defender drone really sucks in PvP now. It's only 20% damage reduction, which is nice, but it dies really fast. It's really only useful for a few seconds, and then it's gone. But it can cause you to win a fight. So, say you just killed someone, and there's another dude there, and you have your defender drone up, pop that shit, because it's going to give you the advantage. It's not going to last forever. As soon as it takes damage, a second or two later, that shit is gone. But for that couple of seconds while it's up, you're going to be taking less damage, and it's nice. It also kind of like throws people off guard too. If they see that drone, they're like, shit, do I shoot the drone? They probably won't, because that'd be stupid, but I think it's worth it to have. You could put a seeker mine there if you wanted. You could put whatever you want as that skill. A seeker mine wouldn't necessarily be a bad option either. They're just kind of funky to use in PvP. Half the time I try to tell them to target things, they don't. So it's hit and miss with the seeker mine, but it is another option. So as far as your specialization, there's really only one option here, and this is demolitionist. There's multiple reasons why. The main reason is in PvP, this subclass has the best talent. It's called Crisis Response. When armor is reduced to 0, it refills all main weapon ammo. And I'm not talking about reserves. It's literally a free reload of your gun. So say you're fighting someone, and you're almost out of ammo, and then they break your armor. Boom, your gun now has 60 bullets in it again, and you can do damage again without, reloading, which is important with clutch, important with just trying to kill them. So it's an invaluable talent. I think it's the most important thing in the game for PvP builds to have. And then on top of it, you get destructive, or whatever it's called, explosive ordnance, 25% increased explosives damage. That helps with your merciless proc, which is great. And you also can ignore one explosion every 60 seconds. So if you've seen that, that trolley meme build that I put out, the PvP meme build, it's really annoying. It's also annoying to play because you kill yourself with it from time to time. But when you do come across someone that's using that, they will not actually damage you with the explosion once every 60 seconds, which can really help save your life. It's definitely noticeable. And I think you also get explosive resistance here. Maybe not. I thought you got explosive resistance in this build, but I'm not seeing explosive resistance, so I guess I'm tripping. Maybe I'm high. I don't know. But I don't see explosive resistance anymore. I could have sworn we did. But armor kits also give you 100% handling, which is crazy. That's another cool thing in PvP with this build. Is, especially on console, you'll notice it even more when it's harder to manage the recoil of the guns. So let me just show you without adjusting for aim. That's my muzzle climb. So now let's pop a, handling boost. Look at that. I'm not adjusting for aim. That's insane. And then you can also have a booster hive going. I don't even know if that helps, but it's a laser beam. That's insane. I forgot all about that talent, honestly. But it's amazing. When you pop that med kit, your gun does not have recoil, and that can also help win fights. So, I think I've covered everything. I've shown my stats. I've shown the survive or the demolitionist tree. Now, yeah, like I said, your options are FAMAS with fast hands, FAMAS with strained. You don't even need a FAMAS. You could use a pyromaniac with this build. You could use a police M4 with the build. It's up to you. But I prefer the FAMAS. I think it's great. Another really good gun is the pyromaniac. And the Police M4, it's also really good. I just found almost a max rolled Police M4. If you didn't know, you can show base damage now. You go to your guns, click options, click show base damage, and now you can see your base damage roll. This thing's really, really good. It's closer to max base damage than my FAMAS is. So, I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea for me to use. I just prefer the way the FAMAS fires for me. It's got less horizontal deviation. And it's got a lot of vertical recoil, but that's really easy to correct, at least with a mouse. So keep that in mind. Don't just use a gun because you heard it's the best. It's got to have the right talents, and it's got to have the high rolls. If you have a shitty FAMAS with the right talents, that's still a shitty gun. You want to have high base damage. It's one of the most important things, other than the talents. So just because you have a FAMAS with the right talents, but you have an M4 with the right talents and way more damage, you're probably going to be better off using the M4. So I think that covers everything. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited to work on this build. The PvP is a lot more enjoyable. I've really, really, really disliked the Division's PvP after every single update they've done. It started out really fun for me with real fast time to kill, and it progressively got worse and worse and worse to the point where I refused to take part in it. But it's nice again. It's not just a bunch of 500,000 armor builds, chicken dancing around. My favorite changes that they made to PvP, if you're unaware, they removed critical range. Every gun can crit point blank now. It's great. So my FAMAS is like a submachine gun now. There's really no reason to use a submachine gun in PvP now because you can crit with your assault rifles. The other thing they changed that fixed the chicken dancing, everyone used to just run around listening to Benny Hill music and hip firing their guns for the most part. It was really lame. Now, if you hip fire, you move at like an insanely slow speed. It might even be slower than when you're aimed down sights. It looks slower, but it's probably just my field of view. But it's insane how slow it is. So I've noticed people don't run around hip firing for the most part anymore. It's crazy that it took them, like 3-4 years to figure out that was the obvious answer to the hip fire chicken dance meta that went on for years and years and years in both games. But yeah, great change. They nailed it, finally. Who would have known? Almost everyone. But hey, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, holster talent on your pistol or sawed-off. I'm running in rhythm. Another option is stop, drop, and roll. So say you run into some fucking shitty group that's using that bleed hive or something. If I step into that thing, I'm as good as dead. But if I had stop, drop, and roll, you could combat roll out of it and lose the bleed, and you won't be dead. But, keep that in mind. I still like in rhythm, but stop, drop, and roll is an option. So, yep. I think that's the only other option that I would use. So, yeah. Protected reload's also an option, but you don't really need it. Your reload's so fast, and you don't have much armor. It's not going to add that much. So, I think in rhythm's the best to help get your drone back up. And, yeah. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making the build, and I'm going to enjoy making it better. My goal is to have 250,000 health with the same stats that I have right now, maybe minus a little bit of weapon damage, unfortunately. But, yeah, don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell button if you want to be alerted to other build videos. I'm also going to be putting up a shotgun build video that I made, as well as my favorite heroic 4-man farming build. If you want to just shit all over the 4-man heroic missions, it is great. and it's really awesome. But thank you guys so much. You can also check me out live, Twitch TV /Inigo Montoya. I'll catch you around.